Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to look at what is AWS CloudWatch. Okay, we are going to create CloudWatch Dashboard, configure an alarm, and also connect those alarm to what we call SNS, Simple Notification Systems, to send us a notification so we will be able to look at what is going on. Right. So we will do a live demo using EC2, okay, where we are going to generate CPU activity, and then we will see how CloudWatch is going to detect those issues and then send us an alert or notification so we can act on that. Okay, so we will jump into this quickly. So before we jump into the live demo, let me quickly go through what CloudWatch is about. Okay, this is AWS monitoring and observation tools where we can use to monitor, collect, and analyze, and also give us a response data from our AWS resources. So we can use it to monitor our application or our AWS resources. In a simple term, this is like I would say your CCTV camera in your house. Okay, so something like your ring, you have your CCTV camera. What it's doing is monitoring. By that I mean it's watching around your inside and outside of your house. It's collecting data, it's storing them somewhere, okay? And then you can use this data to analyze and also respond to whatever you've seen in the video. Okay. So we also have what we call the dashboard. This is like the screen that displayed every activity that is in there. So think about it. CloudWatch is like a CCTV. In this case, it's monitoring our AWS resources. Okay, so like I said, you have what we call the dashboard and what we call an alarm. So an alarm will be triggered. By that I mean a condition will be met, let's say, or pick up an issue within your compound or within your AWS account, and then that action, you have to act on that. Okay, so basically an event will be triggered and then you can act on that. So it tells you how your infrastructure or your application are performing and then alerts you when something goes wrong. That is what it's about. Okay, that is CloudWatch. So let's look at the component. So we have what we call metrics. So the metrics is like the data that you collect over time. In this case, look at it. If you drive, you have your speedometer. So kind of it could be like a gauge for you. It will collect the data and it can display it on a dashboard for you. You have your log. So CloudWatch have called logs. So the logs are the event, the activities that are happening. So the event will be streamed into what we call CloudWatch log or log group. So event is the activity and it will be streamed into what we call log group. So again, think about it, it's like your security recording any activities within that. We also have what we call the alarm. So the alarm is when a condition is met, something will be triggered. The alarm will go off. Let's say in your house, your CCTV connected to an alarm system. When somebody, an intruder, enter your compound, the alarm is triggered. So a condition, by that I mean somebody has entered your house and the alarm is triggered. Similar to this in your AWS account, when certain condition, let's say CPU utilization high is met, okay, let's say 50% or 80%, the alarm is triggered. And the alarm can also be displayed on a dashboard. So it's just a visual representation. So you can see in one go how every activity is going on. Right. If you want a detailed, right. So we have your metrics. So your metric will collect your CPU utilization. And so if you want what we call detail monitoring, you can install what we call CloudWatch agent that can help you to monitor it, like your memory, your disk space, and that. So the CloudWatch agent is a separate software. If you want, it's like the add-ons. So you have your new car and you want some extras. So that is the extra. It will give you extra let's say installation so you can monitor extra activities within your AWS. So if you want to think about it like your car, you buy a new car and you want to add add-ons to monitor certain activities, yeah. And then you have your CloudWatch Insight. So this is a searching tool that can help you analyze your CloudWatch logs. So these are the main components for CloudWatch. Okay, so we will dive into it and then again look into it more detail. So this is this is it. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to create CloudWatch alarm, work on that, and create a dashboard, something like that. So a visual representation of all the alarm, what is going on in there. Okay. So like I said, we will be considering, or we'll be working on a live demo. We're going to create EC2 instance, generate CPU activity, and then watch how CloudWatch is going to detect this activity, and then send us an alert. Okay, that alert we are going to leverage on another AWS services called Simple Notification Service. Okay, so this is like SNS. So you're going to send, it's going to broadcast activities, so it's going to send you notification to your email or to SNS, SMS, or anything like that. Okay, it's a fully managed service, and it just send notification to you, your user, or wherever you want to send it to. Okay, so the SNS, again, it leverage on what we call three main component. We have the publisher, okay, the things that send the notification. In our case, we're going to leverage on CloudWatch Alarm. So we have other services like S3, Lambda that can publish, okay, any message to a topic. So the topic is like the container, okay, so it's like the channel, and that channel, the users or any subscribers can subscribe to the channel. So we can use our email to subscribe to the channel or to the SNS topic. When notification is being sent or being broadcasted, we will also receive the topic on our email. So again, we're going to integrate that. What is going to happen? We're going to leverage on CloudWatch. We're going to set up CPU utilization to whatever we decide. If it is 80, okay, CloudWatch, remember, it's going to be one of the publisher. It's going to publish information to a topic, to an SNS topic, and then we will subscribe to the topic. So subscribe. Sometimes you subscribe to an email and then you get notification similar to that. And then we'll get notified when the alarm is triggered. Let's say CPU utilization is more than 80%. In a real life situation, you have, let's say you've ordered something, okay, the order is being processed, you might get notification like, right, your order is confirmed. So this is true like SNS. Okay, so let's quickly jump into my AWS and then get this started. So let me find my AWS console, and what we'll do is, let's first of all, okay, create an EC2 instance. Okay, let's create an EC2 instance that we are going to leverage on to load. Okay, put a load on it and then monitor it. So let's use okay, let's use Ubuntu. Let's give it a name at, let's say, Dantech, something like that. Okay, and then we pick Ubuntu. Let's leave the way everything is for now. Okay, free is fine, and then T-free. Okay, let's pick something. Okay, let's leave it. T-free is fine, and then we're proceeding with our key pair. Scroll down. Let's leave everything as default. You know what, we're not gonna create any security group for now, okay, with no SSH, because we are going to use instant profile with ability to SSM. Okay, leave everything the way it is. So I have created instant role profile. So where is that? Let me go here. Where's the IAM profile? Okay, so this will allow you to do what we called SSM connection. If you're not too sure how it's done, I've done a separate video. Okay, probably will be somewhere in this video. You might see it at the top. So how you can connect to an EC2 using what we call session manager. So I have that one in place, created a role for that. So I'll pick that. Scroll all the way down, and then what I need to do is to launch the instance. Okay. Whilst the instance is getting launched, we're going to move into CloudWatch. Inside CloudWatch, we're going to create our alarm and then create our dashboard, as I mentioned earlier. So we're going to build that. Okay, so where is it? Let's go to CloudWatch. So if you don't know how to find CloudWatch, again, in your search engine, you just search for CloudWatch. Okay, CloudWatch, and then watch. Okay, Open that. Let's open our CloudWatch, and then we are going to create an alarm. We are going to create a dashboard. Whilst creating the alarm, we will create the SNS as well. Okay. So we have CloudWatch. We can create our alarm. Okay, let's go to create an alarm, and then we'll come back and create a dashboard. Okay, I've got an old alarm here, but let me try and delete that so we don't get confused with any other alarm. I'll delete that. So we'll go create, and the one I want is metrics. So CloudWatch metric. This is the data point we are going to correct. We are going to collect what we call, the CPU utilization. So we pick classic. Okay, we are not doing logs. Okay, so classic is fine, and then again we select metrics. Okay, and then in here we are leveraging on EC2. Okay, EC2. So here is it. We pick our EC2, and then you go per instant metrics. Let's select that. Okay, so then you look for your EC2 that we created. What name did we give it to it? We gave it Dantec. Okay, so that EC2 that is getting created, I think it's done now. Let's have a quick look. Dantec, that is running. So that is the ID ED4. Okay, Dantec, and what we are interested in is CPU utilization. Okay, we're going to let CloudWatch monitor our CPU utilization. So Dantec, where's CPU utilization? Dantec. So Dantec, this is the one we want. Okay, we pick that. Okay, not that. What is that? CPU utilization. That one. Okay, right. The reason being we are going to stimulate high CPU utilization by stressing the CPU. Okay, we select that and then we go next. Okay, and then here we are going to make changes to this. Again, this is our instant. We are not doing anything to it. Okay, that is the name of the instant. That is fine. So let's say the statistics, you can pick whatever you want. Let's pick, let's say, maximum, or you can go average or sum, but let's pick maximum on this one. Right, so this is default period. So CloudWatch by default will send what we call metrics to your CloudWatch all the time. So CloudWatch will constantly be reading your resources in every like 5 minutes. This is by default. Anything less than that, if you want 1 minute, 1 minute is granular. You have to pay for that. Okay, for 1 minute, so you have to pay for that. We can't go less than that. We can even go more, but let's stick to the default for 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, CloudWatch will check the CPU utilization of our EC2. So this is what we call a namespace. Any CloudWatch alarm will have what we call a namespace. So you have what we call AWS, and then the type of service is the namespace. If it's RDS, you see RDS here, but we are using EC2, so we have EC2 here. Okay, so let's leave this as a default for the 5 minutes metrics collection. And then what we say is, right, for every 5 minutes, this is the condition. When the threshold will be setting as static, you have the option to go for anomaly detection. Right, so this uses the band as a thread. So for anything that is not like consistent or there's anomaly, you can detect that. But let's go for the static one and say when, let's say, our CPU utilization is greater than, or you can say when it's greater than or equal to, or lower or equal to, or lower. So let's go for, let's say, when it's greater or equal to, what value do you want? Then what is the value? So let's say when the CPU utilization is greater or equal to, let's say, 50%. Okay, then what? Okay, so let's go to the additional information or additional configuration. So that means that is when the alarm will be triggered. CPU utilization, you know, more than 50%, then the alarm will be triggered. But it will wait for 5 minutes and constantly be reading the data before it gives you that. So we have additional configuration called data point. Okay, data point to the alarm. So you say, so data point to the alarm, right? This is how many times do you want when the alarm is triggered. Okay, let's say if you put one here, so Once the alarm is breached one time, okay, then the notification or the alarm will be triggered. Okay, so 1 out of 1. By that I mean the CloudWatch 5 minutes will monitor the thing for 5 minutes period, okay, and it will check it for one time, okay, and then what is going to do with if the alarm has been breached. So by that I mean the CPU is more than 50%, okay, for one time, only one time. CloudWatch is going to monitor it for one time again, and then for 5 minutes the alarm will be triggered. If I put 2 here, by that I mean, so CloudWatch will monitor this 2 times, okay. Every 5 minutes is going to check it 2 times, okay. So first one, it will check it for 5 minutes, it will check it, and then the next data set is going to check it. So literally it's going to be 10 minutes. So 5 minutes per one data point. Okay. So if you got 2 here, it's going to do it times 2. So 10 minutes, then the alarm will be triggered as long as it is breached for only one time. Okay. Why did I put 2 here? As long as it's breached for only one time. If I put, let's say, free here, that means it's going to monitor it for 15 minutes. By that I mean for every 5 minutes is going to monitor this, okay, for 5 times. Okay, so for 3 times 5 will be 15, and then when the alarm is breached for only 1 point, then the alarm is triggered. If I put 2 here, that means the CPU utilization has to be breached 50% more than, so it has to be twice, it has to be breached twice. Okay, the CPU utilization should go up 50% twice, and then the alarm will be triggered. By that, CloudWatch will check it 3 times, and then when 2 of the 3 is breached, then the alarm is triggered. Sometimes this can get confusing. Yeah, remember this one is how many times CloudWatch is going to monitor it. So if you have 5 times 5 minutes, gonna be 15 minutes. We don't have that time for now, so let's put 1 of 1. Okay, by that we mean 5 minutes. CloudWatch is going to check this. So 1 times 5, just 5 minutes. The breach will happen only one time, and then the alarm is triggered. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The next one is, so missing data. So how are you gonna treat data? Just treat the data as missing. Don't do anything. Just leave it. Any data that is considered as missing, leave it as missing. And then the evaluation windows, leave it as sliding as well. That is fine by default. By that is gonna check it like every 5 minutes. So for now, if it is let's say 10 past 10, the next one is going to check it. So 10 past 11, 10 past 12, 10 past, that's how it's gonna, it's a sliding scale basically. So you leave the way this one is, you go next, and then we are going to create SNS topic. We don't have one, so we can create one as we are going for it, and then we can name it, let's remove all this and say alarm topic. Okay, let's say done topic, done tech. Why is it doing that? Let's remove that actually. Let's put this there, than tech alarm or something. Yeah, and then you, where do you want the email, your message to be sent? Okay, so if we are leveraging on email, we can put our email here. So let me just, let me grab my email here. What is that? So simply done tech email. So we want the notification to be sent to that. Okay, so I'll put the email here, right? So, and then I'll create the topic. Once the topic is created, we can go into it. Okay, remember we're still creating our CloudWatch alarm. Yeah, so by on the way we are creating what we call our CloudWatch. Right, so let me go to the SNS and then we have a look. By that, when we check it, so this is the SNS. We created a topic. Okay, the topic is the holding place, is the container, and we have subscribed to the topic, but we need to confirm the subscription. So if I go to my email here, I should see, let me refresh this, I should see the SNS. Okay, it's been sent. All I need to do is to confirm to subscribe to the topic. Yeah, I've confirmed that. Come back and then go to the SNS, and let's see how uh, let's refresh this actually, so we can get the confirmation on that. Okay, so we subscribe to the topic and you can see that is confirmed. So let's go back to creating, where is that, our CloudWatch alarm. So this is where we are, and we subscribe to the topic and we have confirmed that. Okay, so there are other actions. So these are the actions you can take. Okay, like I showed you on the, where is okay, go back here. So these are the action you can subscribe. Okay, you can take, basically you can send an email notification, you can send an SNM, you can trigger Lambda, you can do auto scaling and so on. Okay, so when we come here, these are the actions we can take. Lambda, okay, SNS, this is what we've done. Okay, we subscribe to that, and then we have auto scaling. If you want to leverage on auto scaling, let's say if one instance, if the CPU utilization goes up, you want to add one more instance or EC2, or you want to decrease, or whatever you want to set for your auto scaling, we will do that in a separate video straight after this. Okay, so again, here for your EC2 action, you can also take action on your EC2. What do you want to do to your EC2? Stop it or terminate it when the CPU utilization goes up or down. It's your choice, or you can reboot it, but we are not using anything on here. We are not terminating, we are not rebooting, anything like that. But if you want to learn that, you can add that. Yeah, so let's remove that. All we are interested here is to send a notification to our email. Like I said, I will do a separate video on the auto scaling. This is where real life scenario we leverage on. Okay, alarm is triggered, on your CPU utilization goes up. What do? You auto scale, or you downsize, or whatever you want to do. Okay, based on your auto scaling policy. So what we need to do is to go next, and then we give alarm a name. Okay, let's give it a name like that. That's fine. And then what we need to do is to go next. Okay, and then you can see our configuration here. Okay, and then we're happy with that, we create. Okay, so this is the alarm created. For now, you can see insufficient data. In the next 5 minutes, it will pick up the information on the CPU of our EC2 instance, and we should be good. Okay, as you can see here, we're going to say 50% of CPU utilization greater than or equal to data point. For one data point, basically it's going to read it when the alarm is breached for only one time within 5 minutes, then the alarm is triggered. So how are we going to, you know, meet this condition? How are we going to meet this condition? Ensure the CPU utilization is up. By that, I'm going to connect to the EC2 instance, and then I'm going to kind of load it, send so many requests to the CPU so it will be overwhelmed, and then push the utilization up. How I'm going to use this is I literally went to ChatGPT and asked how am I going to stimulate CPU utilization, and it gave me some steps. Okay, so again, anyone can also do that. So here we go, CPU utilization. You use a tool called stress, and then it's just literally going to stress up your CPU utilization and then get it sorted. So first of all, we need to install it. Okay, so I've copied that onto what we call them my little notepad. So I'm using Ubuntu based on your um OS you are using. For me, I'm using Ubuntu. If you are using Amazon Linux, again, you'll be using this. Okay, you need to install the stress. So for now, what do we have? So we need to update, and then we're going to install. So what, I'll copy that, and then what I need to do is to connect to my EC2 using what we call session manager. So I'll come to the EC2, connect, and then I'll say use session manager, and then I'll connect. Again, if you're not too sure, I have a separate video how to connect instead of using SSH. If you want to SSH, you can, but I don't want to be managing any keys, so I'm using SSM. So here, what I need to do is to update the system. What's that? Okay, system update. Okay, once it's updated, let's go to the next one. So system update, and then I'll try and install the stress ng. Okay, copy that. Again, you can go to ChatGPT, be able to copy that. Come here and then install. Okay, so stress is a tool, command line tool. We're using it to stress the CPU utilization. So once that is done, and what do I need to do again is I can check the process. Okay, how many vCPU that we have for our CPU. So just checking. So why do I need to check that? So I can provide the number of CPU for that. Okay. So again, coming back to my command, and now for the CPU, basically it's the same command here. It's going to check the number of vCPU and then load them, basically push that to that limit to the number of CPU. Okay, so let's grab that. Okay, copy that, and then actually let me clear this. So control, why is it so control L? Why is it not? Let me type clear actually. Clear is fine. What I need to do is to paste this command here. I'm going to stress it for 10 minutes. Okay, the CPU, the number of CPU, which is 2, and it's going to stress it for 10 minutes. Okay, so that is the idea. Enter. Right, what have we got? Abort temp file. Right, so it needs to be run on the temp file. So what we need to do, let's go cd to temp, tmp. We want to run this into the temp file. Enter. Right, and then let's use the command again. Copy that, paste it here, enter on that. Okay, so it's going to stress it for 10 minutes. So now, so see the number of CPU core. This is this command doing that. Okay, it's checking the number of CPU, and we have 2 of them. Okay, it's going to stress it for 10 minutes. Okay, but whilst it's stressing it, we're missing one thing. So the dashboard, we haven't created the dashboard to monitor it. Let's go to CloudWatch quickly and create the monitoring dashboard. Okay, create a dashboard. We might miss it, but let's go for CPU dashboard or something. Okay, that is fine. So we create a dashboard, nice and easy. Okay, and then what we need to do when you're creating your dashboard, you pick whichever widget type you want, but let's pick gauge. Okay, if you want to pick the number, that is fine. Pick the one that fits your use case. Let's pick gauge. We go next. Okay, again, because it's EC2, we're going to go for EC2, and then we're going to pick per instant metric. Okay, let's pick that. And then again, remember what we are checking is a CPU utilization for the Dantec. So let's look for that. So CPU utilization, CPU utilize that one. Okay, and then can you see here? We're happy with that, and then we can create a widget now, and then we can edit it later. So we create that. Why is it not? It's taking a while. I haven't selected it. Let's see, done tech. That's fine. See that? Okay, let's have a look at that. That is fine. Right. Okay, we got here. That is fine. That's selected. I think what we can do is to also configure the dashboard. So that is fine. Let's go to additional option. Okay, so because it's not going next, because we need to fill in this. So we go to additional option, and then the gauge, we kind of configuring the gauge. So we say from 0 to 100. Okay, watch this bit. Yeah, from 0 to 100. Okay, can you see we got from 0 to 100? Whilst we are doing it, I think the CPU is going up. That's why we can see that. Okay, right, that is fine. Here you go next. You can add more threshold if you want. You can add the, but if I can hide that, can you see the CPU is gone? If I put this here, can you see the CPU down here again? Okay. Live data, you can look at the live data. For now, I think the CPU is like showing 100%. Let's have a look. Okay, and then let's go to show many digits as many. So can you see the number of decimal place we have here? We don't want that. Let's keep it short and simple. We can add threshold here. So for here, you can give it a title to say the first bit. Let's give it a name and I'll show you. So for the first bit, you can say when it's green, you can say it's good or something. Okay, so I'll save that. If it's in green, it means it's good. But let's give what percentage do we say is good. When it's, let's say, less than. So we say less, you pick less than or below what value. If it's below, let's say 50%, we can say it's good. Yeah, so we said that. Okay, that is fine. You save that here. Check that box. Oh, why is it not saved? So 50% is good, and then you save it here. Great stuff. You see, we got that. You can add more. Okay, to say, let's say this is a warning. Warning. When the CPU, you can pick your color if you want, but let's use this. Okay, you can save the color. So as a warning, when the CPU is between, let's say pick between, and then you put the value here. What value? Between 50, you save that, and what? Let's say between 50 and let's go 75. 75. If that is the case, okay, can you see this? Between 50 and 75. That means you are just giving in a warning with this color, yeah? And let's say anything more than that, okay, you can say you can take action or something, yeah? Something like that. You need to take action. So we save that and then pick your color. That is fine. Red is fine. Anything above 75%, that is in red and you need to act. So let's save that. Okay. Okay. And we are good. So this is what we have now. Okay. Let's try and refresh that. Okay. Try and refresh that. And then what we will do is go back to our stress and see how it's doing. Okay. It's still stressing. Let's give it a time. Go to CloudWatch. Let's come to CloudWatch alarm. I'm in here. Have a look. And this, our alarm has been triggered. Okay, that is in alarm now. So when we check your email, let's go back and check your email. You should get notification. Let's look at the notification. It tells you what is happening. The alarm is now in alarm state. So from okay, it's moved into alarm state. Okay, the data point has been breached. The threshold has been breached at that point. Okay. So because we were stressing it whilst creating the dashboard, let's have a look. The dashboard, how the dashboard is doing. Let's give it some time, okay, to be able to pick it up. What we can do, we can also expand that, make it a little bit bigger, and look at the time in seconds and see, can you see it's fully in red now? That's why the alarm has been triggered. You can also look at it in 5 seconds, in 10 seconds, in, let's say, in a minute ago, 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes, this is where we have it now. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay, so can you see, basically this is the dashboard. All right, and then we got our notification being triggered. The alarm has been triggered, as you can see in here. Let's leave it a bit for the stress to finish. What is that? Okay, it was 10 minutes, so let's leave it for 10 minutes and we'll come back to this. So now the stress test has completed successfully for the last 10 minutes. So if you continue to look at our CloudWatch, is still in alarm because it needs to wait for the next, again, 5 minutes okay, for it to cool down before the alarm will be disabled. Basically, again, if you look at the dashboard, it's still saying red, but the stress has been completed. But again, because we set our CloudWatch alarm for 5 minutes, okay, it needs to wait for 5 minutes, check the data point, okay, and then it will say there's no high CPU utilization, and then this will cool down again. So again, this is like your gauge, your speedometer, or your fuel gauge, or anything like that. All right? Okay, so let's have a look how the right. So it's still in alarm state. Okay, that is fine. But again, let's give it a minute. So in a nutshell, when this is finished, I will delete all the resources, and then I will do a separate video on what we call CloudWatch alarm with CPU utilization, and when we are going to action this to auto scale. So CloudWatch with auto scaling action, either add more instance or reduce more instance based on the alarm activity. Okay, let's wait for this to finish, and then we delete the resources. Okay, so our CPU utilization is down, as you can see on the dashboard. What I need to do is to now go back to the alarm, and then see the alarm is in green now. Okay, all completed. It's in OK state, it's not in alarm state. Okay, I just want to delete this, and then I'll do a separate video whereby I'll allow the action to auto scale. Okay, so if I go in here, okay, set of the actions, where is that? So for that, not here, I think the additional option. Okay, I'm going to do a separate video whereby I'll allow auto scaling for this. Okay, so let me delete this. Where is it? So alarm, just action, and then delete. That's what I want. Delete, and then the dashboard. I'm going to delete the dashboard too. So on here, action, and then where's delete dashboard. Just delete that, and then my EC2 instance, I'm going to delete that. So EC2, that one, and then terminate. So I don't need that now. So terminate, and then terminate. And then the last one, I'm just going to remove the SNS. We created SNS. Let's have a look. I think it's this one. Cancel that. Oh, just cancel that. Let's find the SNS. SNS. And then go into the SNS. And then it's that one. Then delete. So delete me. Delete me. So we are all clean up now. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is how CloudWatch alarm works. Okay, so what we've done is to integrate CloudWatch alarm to what we call SNS, created the alarm with metrics, and also published this alarm to our email, and then we created a dashboard to show how distance is. Okay, so we have our dashboard, and then again we created a metrics for this alarm. In the next video, what we're going to do is to take an action when the CPU utilization goes up or down. I'm going to allow auto scaling to set in. By that, I'm going to add more instance when CPU goes up, and then reduce the EC2 instance when the alarm goes down. Okay, so I hope this one will help somebody out there. Again, please comment on my video, subscribe to my channel. This will encourage me to do more videos. Okay, happy learning. See you in my next video. Bye bye.